Welcome back to OPTCG Central, your hub for all things One Piece card game related. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. It really helps us bring you more One Piece TCG matches and more.
Absolutely. So we all know how Ace works against all the other decks, but
I got to stop you there. We are off in our top four. The second top four is off. We got an Atama on the board. We've got Chippy, and we've got Federico. So Federico and Chippy fighting it off. And a fun little side note here, Chippy actually played against David in round 6 or 7, taught David how to play the Ace Mirror, feels very confident. Well, there's an Izzo coming down to search a Whitebeard. Is that confidence going to pay off in the end?
yeah, absolutely. It'd be a wonderful story if Chippy does end up facing up against David in the final, the man who he gave the information on how to play the mirror match. But
After defeating him, gave him the info. If they play again in the final, that will be awesome.
It will be a fairy tale ending, wouldn't it? But Federico is here with great ability as well, made his way to the top 4. So let's see which one of these two players is going to make it through.
8k swing from the Ace there, just taken by Chippy, decides to pick up that life, does not want to use the resources to counter. We see an Izzo here from Federico, which is going to go and search out another one of those Whitebeard Pirates cards.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've seen an Atama and an Izzo nice and early on to get a decent hand size. The mirror matches are more around the Jozu ping pong match, should we say.
And let's not forget Atmos. Atmos can do a little bit of that as well. But it's going to be pinging cards back. That is going to be the goal here.
Absolutely.
So we see a swing from Ace. Just looks like a 6k swing here. No extra Don given.
Yep.
Is it going to go through? Is it going to be taken? Looks like we're using... No?
He's just having a think about it.
I was going to say, we have to resolve this swing before we do anything else.
Absolutely. So he's decides to counter with an Uta 2k blocker there.
Oh, and a blocker. Marco comes down from Chippy. Chippy is going second, which a lot of the time it's said, you know, Ace likes to do. We got the Marco on curve for the 4 Dom. So going quite well for Chippy so far. Seems to be getting what they need.
Absolutely. Passing them back over to Federico now. It's on the 5 Don turn. I'm going to think about what's probably optimal. Depends on what's in the hand. Is there the ability, as you were quite rightly saying, for the Atmos to come down? Or is this a turn where you just do something else? Depends what's in the hand here. So,
right, something up here.
Do you see Federico getting ready to commit something?
Oh, it's another Izzo, so we're going to be searching again. Third Izzo seen this game. Third Whitebeard Pirate card being searched between the two players. And it is that Jozu. A lot of the time we're building up to the big I am Newgate and then play the Newgate. But we've spoken to some players about the Ace matchup this weekend and they all tell us it is Jozu who is the most important. But right now it's a Puddin coming down, forcing Chippy to shuffle his hand into his deck and draw a new hand of 5 cards.
Absolutely. Probably the most efficient time for Federico to do this, especially if the Atmos wasn't in hand. It's like, right, okay, now's my chance to get the pudding, disrupt your hand. You've done a search, got cards, extra cards in hand. Let me see what I can do to make sure you don't have the pieces that you need. But sometimes you can get lucky and draw into 5 really useful cards. But
yeah, 5 is not nothing. So you can sometimes get a really good hand off of a pudding. Here we see an Ace. It looks like just a cheeky swing for 6k. No extra Don committed here. So just seeing if you can squeeze it through, take a cheeky life. You got to imagine Chippy's going to counter this, but if nothing else, it forces a response from your opponent.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Chippy's got an option here. You can either counter or let the Marco block and draw 2 cards. So I think the sensible thing here would be potential. Well, these 2 players are top-class players, so it's going to be a decision. Do you want to get extra cards in your hand, or do you want to
Seems like
just counter?
We're countering with an Izzo. Any counter will do. Worth noting, Federico countered a cheeky swing of a 2k Uta. Chippy managed a 1k Izzo. So keep an eye on that. Those 2Ks are quite precious commodities as you go through the game. Absolutely. Now we are going to see a swing with Marco here.
Yep, you quite often see this. It is like it is a blocker and you swing with it and then it does almost become a natural target as a block, but you do draw 2 with that as well. And if you've got that Don attached to your leader, you end up drawing 3. So it can be a very useful target to manipulate your opponent to swing into.
Yeah, and if they don't swing into it, you keep your blocker on the board, who can also swing in next turn as well. So I absolutely agree with you. It's kind of forcing your opponent to let you have some kind of benefit regardless.
Yeah, more importantly, Chippy's aware that Federico's got the Jozu in hand, so if he doesn't swing with it, it'll probably end up back in his hand anyway, so why not? So yeah.
We saw the Yamato hit the board there from Chippy. We got 2 Don on the ace for an 8k swing into life here, which is going to be taken by Federico. Both players 1 life down from where they started this top 4 game.
Yep, both players down to 2 life now. Chippy did manage to play that Yamato. Yamato has such good synergy with Ace, obviously being very good friends. Yamato does allow you to draw 2 and put a rested Don on your leader as well if you have 3 life or less.
They work really nicely mechanically, but also they work really nicely canonically, so it's kind of, it's nice. Nice seeing those 2 paired up as well as they are.
Absolutely.
Now, looks like, just notice a Kobe Don from Federico here. Quite cool. We are putting it down onto the ace here. We are going to be swinging for 7k. So forcing a 2k response. But we have a Jozu, so we're good.
Yeah, absolutely. So
the other Jozu, not the main Jozu.
Yeah, it's the other one. We know there's 6 Don open here for Federico, so we might see the other one coming down as well. But we do.
We do see the other one coming down. You bounce one of your characters back. Atama, the obvious choice here. It's got a 2k counter and a draw skill when you play it. Either of those can be good, but then you can force your opponent to bounce a card that they want to keep on the board straight back to their hand.
Yeah, and that Marco goes back to hand, not giving that value of drawing 2 when KO'd. So yeah, it does just go back into the hand, and we are now probably going to see, as we were talking about, that ping pong game of playing Jozus and bouncing the Jozus back turn by turn.
That's going to be the goal. Keep drawing into your Jozu. Make sure that you can keep getting rid of your opponent's good cards. And then hopefully over time you whittle them down to the point. And you take cheeky swings where you can. You take damage where you can. Try and control your opponent's board and then sneak through there. It's not the quickest, most aggressive way to win. But this is how the players seem to decide. This is how the ace mirror should go. And everyone we speak to is telling us a very similar story here.
Absolutely. So we have got the 6k swing from Yamato. Leader effect was used to use Marco as a 2k counter. And then we are going to see 6 Don rested. I wonder what's coming down. There we go.
Jozu to bounce the Jozu. But it's not just bouncing your opponent's Jozu. It's also the fact that you get to put one of your cards in hand, which could sometimes be a downside, but if you play it nicely, like the ace decks do, you're putting counter back into your hand. You're potentially opening up play skills, which you can come down again later. So you're bouncing cards back, which are going to be useful, while also getting rid of your opponent's card.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, they got ability use markers. Yes. I was asking for this in the last game.
Yes, they have.
Now we know when Ace has used his ability. That makes me happy.
Yes, they have. And we saw Izo there obviously being used to great effect. Being bounced back into hand with a Jozu and then being replayed by a single Don. And we do see now Ace swinging in for 7. And we did see that one of the Izos being their ability being used to trash it, draw a card, and then place 1 card from your hand back down to the bottom of your deck. Helps you fix your hand a little bit and seek through your deck. So yeah. And is he going to counter this now?
Now
2k counter with a Tama.
Yeah. All good, all countered, nice and easy. And then we go back over to Federico, who, well, we've got the put-in, we've got the Izzo. No real big attackers down at the moment, nothing bigger than a put-in. So needs to try and get some of them, but of course, we did see that Chippy bounced Jozu with Jozu. And the thing is, because it bounces back to your hand, you can keep playing it.
And this is what we were talking about, the ping pong game.
And
you bounce my Jozu back to hand, I'll bounce your Jozu back to hand. Oh, now you're going to use your Jozu in hand to bounce my Jozu back into my hand.
But then the problem is you never run out of Jozu because they keep being bounced to hand, and you can't play Jozu and pudding in the same turn because you don't have enough Don to do that. What would be ideal is play Jozu, use pudding, make your opponent shuffle there.
Exactly, and that's what you want to do when you get to your 10 Don turn, is play the Jozu bounce it back into hand, then play the pudding with the remaining 4 Don, and hope that your opponent doesn't draw into another Jozu.
We're not there at this point in the game.
Ending that cycle, yeah, exactly.
But that's what we're headed for.
Absolutely. That's where Chippy's got the advantage of going second. Will be on the 10 Don turn next, as we see Federico on their 9 Don turn here.
And then you are at least forcing your opponent to try and draw back into it.
Yes. So, what is Federico going to do here?
It is I am Whitebeard. We're not going Jozu, bounce, Jozu, bounce, Jozu, bounce, Jozu. Yep. We're playing the big Whitebeard 12k blocker. Do we think there's a chance now that Chippy won't have a Jozu to bounce a Whitebeard, and then all of a sudden Federico can have this big character to try and control the board?
Yeah, the only way to get rid of this Whitebeard is obviously going to be Red Rock. So if Chippy does have a Red Rock in hand, that will be bottom deck, but there's no other way to remove it. So it's going to be a bit more difficult now having this 10 cost Whitebeard on the board.
Yeah, that Whitebeard can be a little bit of a pain. And that's the thing, you know, you put it down, hoping to stick a big character, have a big attacking threat. Of course, Jozu only gets a 6 cost or less, so it cannot target the Whitebeard.
Yep.
And then hopefully you can still go back to the Jozu games after.
Yeah.
But now you've got your Whitebeard down to help.
Exactly. So 2 rested Dawn. So the Whitebeard obviously lets you draw 2, trash 1. That's been resolved. 2 rested Dawn now put under the leader and the pudding to make the pudding a viable attacker. 6k swing now, being targeted at the Yamato, forcing a card out of Chippy's hand if he wants to keep that Yamato on the board. There is another 8k swing that can come in from the ace as well. So Chippy's going to have to think about what's the most optimum thing to do here. Looks like he's eyeing
something up. It is going to be a Marco. That's the leader skill just to counter out of that swing from the pudding. We now see an 9k ace swing.
Yep. And passes turn back over now to Chippy. Now Chippy is on the 10 Don turn here. Draws and has now got the ability to be able to play I am Whitebeard, but no, like I said, Red Rock comes out. He did have the Red Rock in hand, which is great.
Could still play pudding.
Yeah, manages to bottom deck that Edward Newgate. Depends on how many cards Federico has in their hand. They still have that Jozu, as we know, that's bounced back to hand. So does he want to play the pudding here, or does he want to go down a different avenue?
Well, there is an argument here that right now Newgate's at the bottom of the deck, pudding shuffles the deck, so maybe it ends up nearer the top. Maybe Federico wants it again in the not-too-distant future. There's a lot of ifs, buts, and maybes. And the problem with the mirror, if both players are going, well, I'm going to go Jozu bounce, and we just sit here for an hour while they bounce each other's Jozu.
Absolutely.
So if everyone's trying to follow that same plan, at some point, somebody needs to go, I got to break this cycle. I got to do something a little bit different. And that's where we were going with the Newgate from Federico, but it didn't work. Chippy went straight for that Red Rock to get it off the board.
Yeah, I think we're swinging now 6k with the leader. I don't know what the target is, the leader or the pudding here. But we'll soon see how Federico decides to resolve it. Going to fire off that Ezo by the looks of it first. Didn't quite decide to do that. Nope, just a 2k counter with the Uta. We're going to see a 7k swing.
From that Jozu there going into, is that life or pudding he pointed
Again,
at?
they're right next to each other, so it's very difficult to determine from here where that finger's being pointed to, whether it's the pudding or the life, but
it's going somewhere.
Yeah, I suspect he's probably trying to pressure that life.
You would think so. That's my inkling here.
Yeah, 2k counter again.
With
we see Marco, Marco coming down.
Marco hits the board here, another blocker there for Chippy, and it's going to be, is that a pudding coming down? No, we had a pudding already.
No, that pudding was just being restanded at the start of Federico's turn. Yep.
It was the fact he put it down, then everyone started picking up their cards, and I was like, what's going on here?
Just restanding it. It wasn't targeted, so yeah, it swung last turn with that 2 Don from that Edward Newgate.
Lovely.
So now Federico's on the 10 Don turn. What's the play going to be here? Again.
Right now we're a lot of thinking going on. That's the thing with these ace mirrors. You know that if you take a wrong move, you're going to be punished. You know your opponent knows a mirror. Now here comes is that just a 10 cost Newgate played from hand?
Yeah, just playing it from hand, drawing 2 now, trashing 1.
And you still get the Don attached as well, so you get 4 Don back to do some nice swings, which is rather lovely. So again, 2 on the pudding, 2 on the ace. So there's going to be a 6K swing from the pudding, an 8K swing from the ace coming down.
Yep.
Really saying to your opponent, I'm going to try and just waste your resources. We know ace draws enough cards and it's really hard to whittle down their resources.
Absolutely.
But you still have to do this.
Yeah.
Because if you don't whittle down, even though they're refilling, then they refill without you whittling them down and they end up with everything.
Absolutely. So we're now seeing an 8K swing come in. So Chippy's just deciding. First of all, the EZO is going to be used. Draw, and then put 1 at the bottom of the deck. See that 1 now going away. And now you're going to counter this.
Certainly thinking about it.
So an 8K swing. Is this into life or Jozu? Not really clear at this point.
Lot to ask sometimes, but you need to. You can't go too late on life. You can't give up all of your characters early, and you can't just get rid of everything from your hand. But you need to be doing some of this sometimes. You're thrown into impossible situations. Oh, Chippy is thinking here, trying to figure out exactly what the play is. Having a look at his board, seeing what's there, trying to figure out what is Federico going to do next, because that is going to impact what I'm doing. Let's have a look at the discard, try and figure this one out as well.
Yeah.
We're not untimed here, but we do have 45 minutes remaining in this matchup. And I spoke to some judges before the game, Taj. I got the end of game sequence done. It is life on board, cards in deck, characters, and then if all of those are tied, whoever most recently took a life, those are the tiebreakers in order.
Yep. And he does decide to counter using the leader ability and an Uta there. So back over to Chippy now. 10 Don available. What will the play here be?
Got access to whatever he wants. He still has that new gate. And I like kind of keeping that new gate around for a turn, because now you can have that 12K swing and you can say to your opponent, look, you can give up your Marco blocker, but then you've given up your blocker, or you can take a 12K swing, or you can use a lot of cards to counter. And looking at Chippy's hand, I don't think he's got enough to counter that.
Yeah, no,
got
absolutely.
a 2K Thatcher now, which is nice, but not seeing a lot else in there. So that swing from Newgate basically just removes your opponent's blocker, and you still keep your 12K. And you're saying to your opponent, look, red rocket or it ain't going nowhere.
Exactly. So Chippy's just starting off with a cheeky 6K swing from that Marco blocker. Seeing what the response from Federico is going to be.
Where's this swing going? Is this into life? Is it into pudding? Probably into life, I imagine.
Yeah.
Cheeky little tentative swing. See if it can go through.
Yeah, more than
it
likely.
does not. We see an Uta, but it's another example of using a 2K counter when you only needed 1K. I don't like that. It whittles down the number of available 2Ks for the future.
Absolutely. We've seen a few Utas hitting the trash as counters. And Chippy's got to decide what to do here, because I think he's trying to pressure. Looks like he's got a Goldie Roger in hand.
I saw that. Now we do see that the the Jozu coming down. Different white beard.
7K swing.
Where's this 7K swing going to go? It's rested down, but where is this swing going? And is it going to work? This game is clearly taxing for both the players. They are both having to think really hard about what are they doing, how are they doing it. I cannot give up even the slightest little advantage. We are blocking it seems, with Newgate.
Yep.
And the good news is with 12K, you're good. And it'll just activate on your turn anyway.
So, 3 cards left in hand for Federico. Chippy's got a decision to make here. The 10 Don is open. How do you want to sort of distribute this, and what do you want to play?
So many options. Well, we're using ace right now.
Swinging 6 with ace.
No extra Don, just using it for just a cheeky little swing. 6K, nothing
pressure
more.
To Federico.
You know your opponent's out of 1K counters because they just used a 2K Uta.
Yeah.
So are you just trying to kind of feel out your opponent's hand a little bit? Are you trying to maybe catch them with no counter in their hand? That'd be a cheeky little catch if you can pull it off.
He's trying to force the leader ability here to potentially
that has
get
not
him
been used yet.
That hasn't been used to potentially lose an important card from hand, or forcing him to take a life. Either way, Frederico's either going to be starved of resource from hand, or will end up going down dangerously to 1 life, which, you know, you really don't want to be worrying about going down to 1 life when your opponent's got 10 Don open.
No, you really don't. And getting down on life early can be, or say early, still earlier than your opponent can be a real downside in any mirror match, even the ace mirror match, because all it takes is a couple of swings to go through when you're low on life, and that is going to be it. Now, Roger does come down here. All 10 Don used for that big Goldie Roger.
Atmos was used to counter that last swing, and now we have got 2 cards in hand, and that Roger is now swinging 13 into 12. So this is going to force leader effect and force another card. Otherwise, that Edward Newgate is gone.
There aren't many characters that can just come in and take out a Newgate with an attack, but Roger is absolutely one of them. Keeping that Don open, doing those little cheeky swings, and then going, boom, 10 cost Roger.
Yep.
That is, I love that. That makes me very happy.
Yeah, and this is what Frederico was sort of worried about, as you can tell, the way he was trying to calculate what the best course of action would have been, and now dangerously going to go down to 1 card in hand if he decides to save this Edward Newgate. Let's have a quick look to see what chip he's got in the trash here.
But this is what we've been talking about. You can counter and you can stave off attacks, but even though ace is drawing, you only draw a finite amount of cards. If your opponent just keeps going, there does come a point where you run out of resources, where you've just discarded too many cards for counter, for the leader skill, and so on, and then you do end up in a lot of trouble, potentially.
Absolutely. So, does use the leader ability, trashes that 10 costs reluctantly, pass back over now. Now Frederico's got to try and establish some way back from this.
They really do. If they cannot get back out of this soon, we're going to be going to game 2. And it's worth noting, we talked about end of game procedures. If only 1 game is finished, the winner of game 1 wins the match.
Exactly.
So if this game goes long and game 2 goes long and doesn't finish, then the winner of this first game will be the winner of the match as a whole.
Absolutely. So, Frederico now is going to try and do the same as what Chippy did earlier on. Chippy's got 3 cards in hand, and he's going to tease those attacks. So 6k swing, Ezo used as a 1k counter. Now the problem here is you do need to commit Don to either pudding if you want to swing with it, and even if you want to swing into that Roger with Edward Newgate, you're going to have to commit Don to that as well.
Yeah, 13k, one of the biggest natural characters in the entirety of the game. Again, we're talking about the King of the Pirates. It makes perfect sense, but it is an absurdly large card. This is a big reveal, the first Goldie Roger card we ever had, and then we all saw the text of it, and we were like, okay, you know what? Yeah, we expected something big and impressive from Roger. This is the first Roger card, and you've given us something big and impressive.
Yeah.
We were not disappointed, Taj.
Yeah, absolutely right. It is the biggest, as it is, naturally, base power. There is another card that could go up to 800,000 power. But it is an ancient giant, of course. But, yeah, divvying up this Don now. What are we going to do?
Looks like doing what players often do, counting it out, see what's going where. We got 3 Don going onto the pudding here. And that means we're going to see an 8k swing. No, 7k swing, sorry. But Don's not going on there anyway, it turns out. Yeah. Unless we put 4 Don and do an 8k swing, and I was right all along. Make me happy.
Yep, so what are we going to do? So, 7k swing into life.
Marco is rested. He can't be using that for blocking anymore.
Yep. What's the target?
Now Chippy's forced to pick up his cards. Have a look. What's he got? Do you have any counter here? There's no blocker, so it's either take a life or counter out of it. They're your only 2 choices, Chippy. Can we find something going on here?
Absolutely.
not a good. Is that 2 cards in hand?
Yeah, just 2 cards in hand. Both of them have sort of dwindled themselves down to quite a few little cards in hand. Does take that life. And now what's he going to do? He's going to swing with the Newgate here.
It is going to be a 12k swing with the Newgate, no blocker. And if you took the swing from Pudding, you've got to assume they're going to have to take the swing from Newgate as well. Put them down to 0 life remaining.
Yeah, he's just deciding where he wants to target this. It is going to be into the Jozu to take 1 less attack, give him a bit of safety.
I don't mind this, honestly. I really don't mind this. Because it gets to the point where you've got to find something. And right now it's, look, I'm ahead in the game. I'm ahead on the board. Let's just control the board a little bit. I can take life as it comes. But right now, I want to play some board control. Marco gets bounced back with Jozu. It had been a good couple of minutes since a Jozu hit the board. We were overdue for a Jozu.
We were indeed. And we do see Jozu come down to deal with that Marco, leaving that Goldie Roger as the sole character on the board at the moment.
I mean, if you're going to have one character on the board, might as well.
Yep. It's a big 13k body, obviously. So now what do you want to do here now? Do you want to
10 Don swing?
Well, 10 Don coming down, and we are going to see.
This probably makes a lot more sense than 10 Don on the Newgate.
Absolutely. You've now got a 15k swing into that Edward Newgate.
Yeah, this is
You're going to have
big.
an 8k swing to be able to get rid of maybe that Pudding or going to life, and then it just makes it a lot better for you.
And that's the thing. At this stage, it is just, let's try and make sure I've got the better board going. You can actually get rid of Newgate, or at least, I mean, yeah, it is going down. There's no counter.
If you've got 15k swing, you're going to naturally go for that Newgate.
Yeah,
and now,
it really did seem like it was not being saved from that. Yeah. Now we can have an ace swing. Is it into Pudding or is it into life? It's an 8k swing.
Life at this point.
You assume?
I'd assume life at this point.
Yeah.
It just forces, I mean, if you're then going to use a Pudding as an attacker, it just forces you to stick Don on it and make you not potentially, if you draw into something else, then it just means you're having to commit Don to get a viable swing with it. So yeah, why not?
No, you're absolutely right with that one. Now it is going to be,
Yeah, so that life was taken.
Yeah.
So we're now passing back over to Federico, who's on the 10 Don turn.
1 life remaining for each player. But if you look at the board, Chippy's got Newgate and Roger. They are big attacking threats. We see a Garp coming down. That's going to search a free cost or higher card. But Garp, Pudding, and Jozu against Newgate and Roger. If you think about that in canon, that is not going to be a close fight, Taj. Newgate and Roger are having that all day long.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see now. What's he going to take with a Garp? Federico's just deciding what the most efficient card is going to be.
Just stop and have a think for a second. And this is very important. We're getting towards halfway in a round. This means that there is now a decent chance we do not complete 2 full games.
Yep.
Not if they both take as long as this one. So that means that the outcome of game 1 becomes so much more important. If game 2 doesn't finish, there is 10 minutes overtime.
Yep.
But if game 2 doesn't finish, the winner of game 1 is the winner of the match. That is a very important piece of context. Keep it in your head, ladies and gentlemen. This could come back. This will be on the test. It's a red rock being taken off of the Garp.
Yep.
Not been played yet, but it has been taken off the Garp.
That's really vital information. So, red rock in hand now. Has the Don available to be able to play it. But what's the play here going to be? Do you just play the red rock to deal with maybe that Edward Newgate?
I think you do. There is the red rock.
Yep.
It does deal with the Edward Newgate. Of course.
Needs to go to the bottom of the deck. Yep. Yeah, he accidentally put it in his trash there. Put it in the bottom of his deck now, Chippy.
That could come back, especially if a Pudding hits the board. Shuffles it back. Could end up near the top. Could draw back into it. That's relevant.
Yep.
Now just checking cards in hand for both players here. Something you always need to be aware of is how many cards are in your opponent's hand, so you can start guessing as to how much counter they've got.
Absolutely. So, 2k counter from that Jozu attack.
Now we're paying more Don. 1, 2, just 2. They're going on to the leader. We're going to see an 8k swing from the leader here. Trying to force, no we're not. Yes we are.
Yep.
Yes we are.
Yeah, he'd already attached the Don, so he is committed to it now. The judge is quite rightly saying. once you have put it down and it is attached, you can't remove it. So that is an 8K swing.
Yeah, if we were kids, we would say, you took your hand off it.
Yep.
But we're not, we're grown-ups, Taj.
Essentially, I think Federico was then just reconsidering, should I go for an 8K or should I keep a couple of dom back for maybe the pudding to do a 6K swing? But yeah, now the pudding can't attack this turn. So we have an 8K swing coming through to life. Does Chippy want to counter this one out or take that life?
The problem is, if you use a leader skill, you're tied at 8, so you will need leader skill plus another counter in order to get rid of this. Yeah, and it does look like we have 2 cards being eyed up.
Yep.
There's Fatch there for 2K. There was a 1K as well. We're good. 3K counter, absolutely enough. And then we get back to Chippy's turn. And, well, I hate to say it, but it's been a bit of a Chippy game here. We're going back and forth. It's little digs here and there. We're not seeing these giant swings in momentum. It is just little advantages passing back and forth between both these players. But Roger is still there. He's the most powerful character on the board. It's the most powerful character in the game, naturally.
Well, this is now really down to how many cards in hand does Federico have? And can you afford to go a couple of big swings here? I mean, how do you sort of measure this up? So it looks like 4 cards in hand for Federico. So he's going 10 to test him.
There will be an extra card in hand if a life gets taken, and then there'll be an extra card in hand because of the leader skill on the ace. So that is going to give more options. So the second swing will be harder. That is taken. So now Chippy can go and just put all the Don on that Roger. A gigantic swing here is going to be enough. Federico picks up his cards. Chippy takes game 1. Didn't even see what was in Federico's hand. Just said, I'm not even going to show you. It's not even close.
No,
you take game 1.
Yeah, don't need to share that information. But at the end of the day, Chippy sequenced that really correctly. Kept 6 Dom back just in case he needed to rearrange his potential move there.
Yes.
But thought, let me go, swing for 10, forces out at least 3 cards from hand. So that would leave him down with 1 card. I could make a decision based upon that. If he takes the life, we're just going to do a big 19K swing with Roger because there's no way he's surviving that.
No, if you couldn't get rid of the 10, you definitely couldn't get rid of the 19. That 19K swing. The second it went forward, Federico was just like, now we're good. Game 2.
Yeah,
don't blame him.
Absolutely. So Chippy takes game 1, which over halfway through the time, we can, depending on how fast these players play, potentially have game 2 concluded.
We absolutely can.
And then it could...
Especially with 10 minutes overtime.
Absolutely, yeah. So both players now just shuffling their hands. But Chippy's 1 step closer now to that trip to Japan. It's every player's dream, isn't it, to represent their region at the World Championship Finals.
And there's no way. You cannot be a fan of One Piece without wanting to go to Japan.
Oh, 100%.
You cannot be a fan of card games without wanting to go to Japan. If you're a fan of the One Piece card game, I feel like everyone is just desperate to go to Japan as often as possible. And having your trip covered, with your hotel and your airfare covered, going out, and not just going out, but also representing your region at the One Piece World Championships. I mean, come on. What more could you want, Taj?
Exactly. It's a dream for everyone.
Winner of this game is locked. Loser of this game is not out of it, but they then have to play a third place playoff. There is going to be a player here that gets all the way to top 4, winning, and then loses 2 matches in a row to miss their Worlds invite. It is a function of a tournament structure.
Yeah, and that really is really difficult to have to cope with. That person who's going to finish 4th today is going to be really disheartened having got this far, but we're going to have 3 extremely overjoyed players. One of them has already made their way through in the form of David into the final and secured their place. Which one of these 2 is going to be the next one to secure their place?
Chippy's 1 game up, but Federico, look, they're playing a mirror match. Federico now gets a choice to whether to go first or second. In theory, they should be able to go second, and we did see Chippy went second in game 1, and that curve looked very, very nice in game 1. So Federico's hoping that they can go second here. They can get on that. Job number 1, win game 2.
Absolutely.
Job number 2, can we maybe get those tiebreakers in our favor? cards in deck, not this game, but next game, cards in deck could be a very important metric. Right now, we're getting ready for game 2. We're off in game 2. Chippy puts a Don out, and that's Chippy's turn.
Yeah, passes the turn over, and we see an Ezo searcher for Federico for turn 1. 2 Don. And then if he doesn't have another searcher, he'll probably stick that additional Don underneath the leader and pass the turn, which is exactly what we see.
It is indeed. We get the Izzo coming down. Search. One energy. Oh, one energy. What we're talking about. One Don on the ace there. Giving him energy, though. Look how energized he is in that card.
Absolutely. So 8K swing now from Chippy into Federico's leader.
9K swing.
Sorry, 9K. I keep
9K
forgetting
swing.
this is a 6K base leader. Why do I keep doing this? 9K swing.
I mean, right now, let's face it, as far as we're concerned, every leader is 6K right now, Taj.
Yeah, pretty much.
Only 6K leaders exist in One Piece.
Well, unless it's Roger. Then he's 7.
I don't see any Roger. All I see is ace right now,
Ace
Taj.
everywhere, you're right. It's ace all over the place. So, pass back over to Federico now. He's down to 2 life. 4 Don turn. Will we see Marco coming down here? Well, he's starting off with a 6K swing into leader. So it does look like he is going to play something for that 4 Don. And what is it going to be?
Right now, we're not getting any clues.
Yep.
We see the Don. We've seen the swing.
So Chippy's just having to resolve this swing first. Are you going to counter? Or are you going to take this life? So...
And then when you've done that, hopefully we can see what those 4 Don are going to be used for. Is choosing to take the life, +1 card in hand. The first life is not that important. It's a Marco, the best 4 Don character that we have in this ace deck. It's a blocker that draws 2 when KO'd. It's frankly pretty spectacular.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Yamato coming down here. If I'm not mistaken, on the 5 Don turn, if Chippy's got it in the hand.
Well, we got 1 Don being used for something else, so I'm not seeing Yamato right now.
Yamato won't be coming down by the looks of it.
It's going to be an Izzo, so what are we going to search here? Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Find a Whitebeard Pirate. Whack it in your hand. It is shockingly enough, it's a Jozu. Stop me if you've heard that one before, Taj.
Well, that's next turn decided what's going to be played. So let's see what comes out now.
Atmos.
Yeah, dealing with that Marcus.
Budget
Marco.
Jozu.
And now we're seeing a 6K swing coming in, and that is leader effect to counter that one. And pass the turn back over to Federico.
No Don on the ace, so no leader skill coming down this turn if the swings go well for Federico. Always nice when you can swing against your opponent's ace when they don't have a Don attached. This feels better when you don't give them extra cards.
Absolutely. So, what can Federico do this turn now? So, we're on a 6 Don turn. We're just going to swing 6 to begin with, giving nothing away.
Cheeky little 6 leader swing. I like these cheeky swings at the start of turns because you get a little bit of a glimpse as to what your opponent's hand looks like by how they counter it. And then, depending on what they do, that gives you a little bit of information as to how the rest of your turn could go out. You see your opponent countering with a Jozu and you go, hang on a second, that's a 2K counter.
Yep.
A 1K counter would have done. They've probably not got any 1K counters. Is there a way I can take advantage of this?
So we do see Jozu coming down. And now, what's Chippy going to do on this turn? 7 Don turn. Swinging 6 with the leader to begin with, as we would expect. What will Federico do here? Again, both players just trying to chip away cards from hand.
And that's the kind of game it's been. It's been both players, little cheeky swings. It's been build and control the board with cheeky swings where you can. Here comes Jozu, shockingly enough, to get rid of Federico's Jozu. And the ping pong Jozu has begun.
Yeah, picks up the Ezo, plays the Ezo without even picking it up off the table. Just resting that Don to then go and search for a Marco and put it to hand and passes the turn back over to Federico. We've got just over 20 minutes left of this game 2. Chippy is 1 game up in a best of 3 here.
And it's worth noting, if you want to slow the game down and go ping pong Jozu, well, Chippy can do that all day long.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chippy doesn't need this game to finish. Federico needs this game to finish and then get into a winning position in game 3. The clock is very, very relevant here.
It is indeed, yeah. It makes a huge difference having that advantage of being one game ahead.
So here we go with the Garp coming down, Monkey to Garp. As long as your leader is Sabo, Ace, or Luffy, and it is, you get searched for any card for cost of 3 or more. And I've made this point throughout the weekend. Let me make it again now. Most of these searches are very restrictive. You can get this cost or lower. You can get, you know, a Whitebeard Pirate. You can get a Straw Hat. Okay, fine. You can't get a 1 or 2 cost.
Yeah.
But like anything else, that's so good. It's why it has to be restricted to certain leaders.
Yeah, it is just so strong, isn't it? And yeah, look, we've got I Am Whitebeard being added to hand there, which is absolutely crazy. So, back over to Chippy on the 9-Don turn.
Not playing on the dice roll, that means that you're essentially one Don, even though you go first, you're essentially a Don behind every turn. So you've not got the 9-Don to play, say, a Newgate.
I was about to say, does he have a pudding in hand? He does indeed. And he is now going to make that massive hand of Federico be shuffled back into that deck. And Federico's going to have to draw 5 random cards.
I like this for 2 reasons. I like this because Federico had a big hand.
And yeah.
I like it because Chippy just saw Federico grab the Iron Whitebeard off of an Izzo. And we saw last game, Federico went for the Whitebeard much earlier than Chippy, and it was causing problems. So maybe trying to disrupt that combo and going, I know you might be thinking about it. I'd like it if you thought about something else right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So Chippy's managed to play the pudding here. Does still have 5 Don available. So if a Yamato is available in hand, that could be played here. And then
it is the Yamato, and that gives draw power. When you play it, you get to draw a couple. Yeah. Then we can pop a Don on the Ace as well, which firstly, bigger swing if you haven't swung yet, but secondly, means you've got a Don on Ace to activate that leader skill. And like we said, the way these cards work together, the synergy between them is so good. And then just like canonically, that makes perfect sense, and that makes me happy as well. I hear Ace once took a trip to Wano. I hear it was fruitful for all involved.
It was indeed.
There was a devil fruit pun in there. I don't know if you caught it,
yeah.
But I'm just pointing it out.
Absolutely. Leader effect there used to counter out of that swing by trashing that Goldie Roger for a 2K counter. And now it's Federico's turn. What can Federico do here with the 4 cards that were left in hand? Drew 1, obviously, back up to 5. 10 Don available, but what was that? The cards that he managed to draw into. Is there any way he can formulate an efficient response to Chippy's board here?
Right now, we've not got very much, and Chippy, once again, just working that board, making things look quite nice, and putting your opponent down to a 5-card hand. Oh, but one of those 5 cards was Puddin', and Puddin' is going to do to Chippy what Puddin' did to Federico. There is absolutely no bias here. Puddin' will disrupt anybody's hand, and Federico here using it on Chippy, putting a 5-card hand, which we must stress could be better.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see what's going to be the next action here. 6 Don available.
Oh, with a judge shuffle. Wondering what happened. That was a judge shuffle sometimes.
Yep.
Key circumstances like this, judge goes and does the shuffle.
Yeah,
we are in top 4 of a One Piece finals after all.
Yep. 7K swing now into leader from that Jozu. Looks like he does have options in hand to be able to deal with it. What's he going to decide to do here? Does he want to keep those options available to be able to try and draw into better things?
Right now, we're using a fact. That's a 2K counter.
Absolutely.
One of those lovely starter deck cards, which has become very much a mainstay in this Ace deck and has made everyone run out looking for that old starter deck so they can get their copies of Fatch. Because it turns out, I don't know if anyone at home's noticed this, turns out this is quite a popular deck this weekend.
It is indeed, isn't
like
it? It absolutely is.
Most repped in top 32. Very much the most repped in top 4. The only repped in top 4. One might say. Here comes a swing with the Ace leader with 1 Don. It's a 7K swing. forcing a response here from Chippy. No blocker on the board, so you can counter or you can take the life.
Yeah, another 2k counter required here, or you can use your leader ability as well to use one of those other cards to be able to give 2k. But yeah, it is a response that's going to be required. 5 Don still available as well. Decides to take that life. It goes down to 1 life, but draws an additional card as well. And we now see Ezo being dropped for 1 Don to go and search for another card. You're right, you know, we started this weekend with 13 ace in our top 32. Our top 8 was made up of 6 ace. And we got to our top 4 with 4 ace leaders. We know Ace is going to take this home this weekend. But which of our pilots will it be? Will it be David, Federico, or Chippy?
They're the only 3 options left. We've eliminated 1 player from top 4. Every time I see a player pick up all turn if they're Don, I'm like, go on, put on 1 character and swing. And I know in this situation it makes no sense.
Yeah.
But there are very few things in One Piece more satisfying than 10 Don on a character swing.
Yeah. True. Right. How's this going to start? So the only rested character here is obviously the Jozu, so maybe you'd want to target that. Would you want to start just punching into life again?
There is a Marco blocker, so if Chippy gets a little bit too greedy with any particular swing, that Marco blocker is there to provide a little bit of a check. It's important to bear in mind.
Yeah, it depends what Chippy's got in hand here now. So, what are you going to do here?
Okay, so we're eyeing up some Don. Got to be something we can do here. Have a look at your hand, Chippy. See what's looking good. I reckon. I mean, are we up to 10 Don yet?
Yep, 10.
Roger, let's play Roger. Roger went well last game, Taj.
Yeah, I think the Jozu might be an option in just a bit, so we'll see what he does.
Right now, we are swinging with a Yamato here. Just a cheeky little swing, a 6k swing, saying, you know what? I'm going to give this a go. Might work, might not. But if nothing else, I'm forcing a response. We see the Atama come down. Another 2k counter used when a 1k would have done. That's information Chippy can use.
Yeah, I think at this point, maybe Jozu into the Marco.
I like the idea of Jozu into Marco.
Yeah, bouncing that Marco back into hand. More importantly, not being able to draw that 2 if it was used as a block.
Absolutely.
Having now forced that 2k counter and got Federico down to 2 cards in hand.
And when your game plan is evolving around starving your opponent of cards as best you can do it completely as ace. But, you know, when you try and do it as best you can, giving your opponent 2 cards by knocking out one of their blockers, it kind of feels like you're just going back on what you were originally planning to do.
Exactly.
So here comes a Newgate.
Yep. So Edward Newgate hits the board for the full 10 cost. Trashing Iron Whitebeard, putting 2 rested on the 2 viable targets, obviously the leader and the character that was available, which is Pudding, to be able to do a 6k swing with that Pudding as well. But we start off with an 8k swing into Jozu.
When I said 10 cost for the Roger, 10 cost for the Newgate, I'm also happy with this, Taj.
Yeah.
I just want to see a big character hit the board. I got to see it. I'm a happy bunny. We did see that 8k swing with leader. Marco is going to be blocking that and going away here.
Yep.
So Chippy, and look, you've got a 12k body on the board. You've got a big old blocker down, and you've taken your opponent's blocker out. Here we see a 6k swing with Puddin.
Yep. So
we are using Izzo's skill here just to get a bit more consistency, try and give ourselves a bit more options. Seeing an extra card, fixing our hand a little bit, hopefully.
Yep.
And then a bit of a discussion. We got 11 minutes remaining. If the game finishes without a resolution, Chippy will be moving on to the final and locking in that trip to Japan in March.
Absolutely. So, we have
leader skill, I think.
Yep. So we've just resolved that attack. And now pass back over to Federico. Again, that Marco block did give an additional couple of cards back in hand. So back up to 5 cards in hand now after drawing that 1 card. So let's see what Federico can do with what is available. Now, the worrying thing is you have got that big Edward Newgate. Have you got a response for it? Have you got a red rock? Can you get rid of it in any way?
And the problem is, a lot of the, these ace decks, you've got your Newgate and your Roger, those are big boys, right? But everything else is kind of like 6, 7K.
Yep.
So what that means is that once this Newgate hits the board, as a blocker, it means that your first attack every turn, or at least one attack every turn, is just not going through because that blocker is going to block and almost certainly survive as well. So it's really putting a big check there. Now, we did see the pudding.
Yeah, pudding into pudding, just
Pudding on pudding
yeah,
prime.
it's just a easy one to get rid of and not commit any don to, and force your opponent to at least lose that pudding character off the board. Easy way to get rid of it.
I'm not generally a fan of putting pudding in the trash, but in this instance, I'm going to forgive Federico. That was getting annoying. Setting your opponent's board a little bit, keeping your own pudding. It's not a phenomenal attacker, but you stick a don or two on there and it can start swinging at characters, at life. We just saw it do a bit of board control. So it's there if nothing else. There's a second Jozu, and crucially, bounced pudding back to your hand rather than Garp.
Yep.
You are opening up the option here of more hand disruption, and then immediately going for the hand disruption. Generally, you want to bounce those lower cost characters like Garp, like Izzo, that have got a counter. But here you bounce the pudding back so you can immediately force your opponent. And I said I didn't like putting pudding in the trash. You know what I do like? Double pudding.
Double pudding. Absolutely. Well, yeah, that pudding really does cause disruption. Great play there. Play the Jozu, bouncing the pudding back to hand, and just replaying it with a 4-don that's available. Makes it really difficult now. Chippy back down to 5 cards in hand. And now there are going to be a couple of swings coming in, starting off with a leader swing, 6K. How's Chippy going to respond to this?
The whole way that this turn has gone, playing Jozu to get rid of your opponent's Jozu, then you put them down to a 5-card hand using pudding because you play Jozu, and then you start the swinging, but you're swinging in a situation where your opponent's starting off with a 5-card hand, so they are less able to respond, and it's random 5 cards, so there is a chance you've put them into a bunch of cards with no counter, or things of that nature, or you're going to be forcing 2K counters instead of 1. It could go either way, but there's a world in which this goes very well for Federico.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're now getting the 7K swing coming in. Obviously, user Edward Newgate to block the leader swing, so can still use a leader effect to trash 1 card to make it a 2K counter. Has drawn from that Ezo. Now just got to decide which card to put back at the bottom of the deck. Let's put his cards down, holding his head. Has to make a decision here.
Well, there aren't many swings coming out here because the other Jozu came down this turn. Pudding came down this turn. Garp is pretty weak, and there's no Don left to boost him up.
Yep.
We are is it countering with Izzo there?
Yeah, he's got to put 1 back down at the bottom of his deck, which he's forgotten about. So the judge is just clarifying to him, before you do counter, you do need to put 1 at the bottom of your deck.
So what we're looking at, 7 minutes remaining, just under. There will be 10 minutes of overtime if need be. But Federico and Chippy here in a very, very tight game. If this game finishes without a conclusion, Chippy will win the match. If there is a conclusion, we're going to have very, very little time for a game 3.
Absolutely.
And it will be full tiebreaker scenario at that point.
Will indeed.
Which is protect your life at all cost, while also trying to protect the number of cards in your deck.
So, what will Chippy do here to respond to that particular board state? It's looking quite imposing at the moment with the fact that you've got the 2 Jozos. You definitely need to deal with one of those. But you're also conscious of the fact that your opponent's still on 2 life as well.
That's the thing. Now, Newgate's great, and it can block on your opponent's turn, and then it'll restand on your turn, then you can swing with it. But Newgate alone isn't going to end out this game. You've got to take 3 more life.
Yeah, and
here comes a Garp.
Yeah, he's going to go digging for some pieces now, because obviously that pudding has disrupted his hand. He needs to find some answers.
Seems like Pudding might have done a decent job here.
Yeah.
Just having a good old look, make sure we're doing things right, make sure we're teasing the right card from Garp. Any free cost to hire card is a viable target here. It's going to be a red rock.
Yep.
Okay. So that's going to get rid of one of the Jozu.
Yep. So we'll get rid of one of the Jozus.
Now the question is, what else can we combine it with?
Let's see.
Is there a world... See, the thing is, if we swing into Jozu with Newgate, then you don't have it ready as a blocker until your next turn. It's a bit of a pain.
Yeah, but I think
well,
we're
there's
just
6
going
Dom
to see...
being paid. Oh, wait, no. It looked like it was going to be a 6 Dom for the Red Rock.
Yeah, so he's definitely trying to get rid of that Jozu first before he makes that decision. Now he's going to play a Jozu to bounce other Jozu, play another Garp.
I really like this. I like this so much better than Red Rock.
Yeah.
I know you've lost your blocker for a turn in Newgate, but now you got rid of both the Jozu on the board. And the key thing here, we grab an Uta off of the Garp. The key thing here is you've got that Red Rock.
Yep.
So if Federico goes and plays something like a Goldie Roger or a Newgate, the kind of thing that Jozu just can't deal with, you've got a Red Rock ready to rock.
And I think it's important that obviously Chippy had to reveal the Red Rock, and it's almost like baiting your opponent. Your opponent's like, hey, look, I've got a Red Rock in hand now.
Yeah.
Play around this.
I kind of love that. Because I think we know Chippy's hand ain't that great after the pudding.
Yeah.
So you can like put him into a better hand, I dare you.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Don't play your big guns because I'm going to Red Rock them.
Yeah.
Or play your big guns and I'm going to Red Rock them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So Chippy is feeling a little bit safe here.
Or just make your opponent take a little bit longer on their turn thinking, and then time runs out and I've won game one, so I win the match.
Yeah, it's getting very tense and nervous now. Look at Chippy's face. He really is feeling the tension here.
I mean, it's trip to Worlds on the line. You win this game, you're in Worlds. You lose, and you have another chance as a third-place playoff. But it's going to be another ace mirror. Do you really want to lose an ace mirror and then go into an ace mirror for a trip to Japan, which is going to be the most stressful game of One Piece you have ever played in your entire life? I would say no.
Yeah. So, Federico, it's taking a little while here to decide how to go about this, but we are seeing an 8K swing from Pudding. Do you counter this, or do you let this one go through? Because there is going to be 6 Don available that can be attached to that leader, and then you're in danger of having to.
I think you have to counter
this.
this.
Absolutely. So we are going to see.
There's the leader skill, getting rid of the I am Newgate. That's 2K.
Yep.
We're not there yet, because it was an 8K swing into a 6K leader. You're now tied. You need one more. Tie goes to the attacker, so you need to get to 9. You're at 8. And, oh, the Uta puts you up to 10.
Yep.
You wanted a 1K there.
Now, the danger here is you split your Don. So, do you have enough to be able to? How many Don has he got left now? 6 Don.
But how many cards has Federico got in hand? Is there a chance that Chippy can just go Newgate swing, Josie swing, leader swing?
Yeah, but can he survive these 2 swings now? That's a question. So I think that Garp was on the board. Yeah, the Garp was on the board from the previous turn. So
yes.
Can you put... So teasing with an 8K swing to begin with.
And then if this goes through, then we can take the Garp. So now we've got 4 more Don. It's not a big swing from Garp. Have we got anything left here? What are we on? Is that a 6K swing? So any counter will do here. Okay, we are countering away with the Yamato. So Federico giving it a go. Not enough that turn. I love that he had a go. It did not work out. But you still got your opponent down to 0 life.
This is pretty much it. I think Federico knows this is the end of the road here.
I think it is. You got 3 life remaining, but there are 3 big swings coming. You've got very little in hand. You've got no blockers on the board. You've got your leader skill for 2K, and then whatever other counter is in your hand. There might, however, is there any chance that those 2 cards that are picked up from the life could then give enough to survive one of these 3 swings?
Yeah, exactly. So let's see how this plays out. I mean, at the end of the day, I think there's ability to get rid of the Pudding and the Garp just by swinging into them. Play another 10 cost. But there is a Red Rock in hand as well, as we know. So these characters are going to be
Jozu swings, leader skill gets rid of it. You could still win this turn if you put a bunch of Don on the Garp for that final swing. So we're going to see a leader swing here. Is it only a 6K?
Yep, 6K swing.
And there's at least, yeah, there's Jozu can counter out of that. So there's no win in the game this turn for Chippy. So I think at this stage, you know, now we're running out of time now, and it does look like there is the hand extended. Are we gonna shake on that? We've reached the end of the game. Is that Chippy getting a 1-0 victory?
Yeah.
And that is going to be Chippy going into the World Finals. But there's something going on at the table. There's a little bit of consternation there. There's a little bit of Federico's clearly gesturing about something, but it looks like we're going to get confirmation. But it looks like a 1-0 victory for Chippy here, which is going to go and put him